Nauvoo, of course, like I said, is super different. A lot of really interesting things happen. There was, at one point, my first summer, a conference for lawyers. It's kind of like the game lawyers play. They get together and they like retry trials from the past. And they see if our modern law would change the outcome of what happened in the past. So they did like a Mary Todd Lincoln thing where they had her they did retrials on like whether she was insane and things like that, which of course they found out the outcome was different nowadays. But they did one on Joseph Smith and on his habeas corpus claim that he had at one point. So all of these high profile lawyers came to Nauvoo to retry Joseph Smith, and it was super interesting. But of course the highlight and the guest speaker, the most important person there, was Elder Oaks, because he's a lawyer and he spent a lot of time actually researching Joseph Smith and the laws that went into that and everything. He wrote a book about it called The Carthage Conspiracy, so he knew a ton. So he was the keynote speaker. So we had tons and tons, thousands of people there for this conference. Tons of people who wanted to hear Elder Oaks speak, and it was the night that he was coming to speak. And as sisters, we were supposed to clear out the visitor center and only let the people in that had the tickets. They were free, of course, but needed to, like, of course, seat people by who was there for what. So we had everybody out of the visitor center. People were lined up down the street, these really high profile lawyers, and we weren't supposed to let them in, and the person that was supposed to tell us when everything was going to happen was late. So everybody's like, why aren't you letting us in? Like, getting drilled by lawyers, right? And you're like, ah! So we're just trying to like keep everybody out until the right time. And we had all just gotten our outbound calls, and I had been called obviously to Arkansas, to Little Rock. And one of the senior missionaries opened the door for the visitor center, and everybody was like gonna try to squeeze in, but they were like, Sister Richardson. So they called me over, and I went over there, and they said, there's a family walking away right now from Arkansas. And they wanted to just see the visitor center. They're not actually here for Elder Oaks. Would you please go talk to them? And I had a lot that I was going on, of course, that I was trying to take care of, but I really felt like I should go talk to these people. So I ran and I caught up with them, and I was like, hey, if you're not here for the Elder Oaks thing, you can definitely come in. We were just trying to make sure that people didn't take seats that weren't there, so you can come in. I would love to give you a tour. As I was walking in, obviously I was just asking them questions about Arkansas, because I was like, I'm going there soon, I really want to know what it's about. And they're like, there were 2 men and 1 woman. One of the men started walking a little bit ahead, and the other 2 people just kind of were like focused in on me, and they're like, you know what, we were driving back to Arkansas from visiting somewhere, and we felt like we should come to Nauvoo. He's not a member, he's never really wanted to know anything about the church, but we felt like we should come, so please, like, give us a tour, but put all the spiritual things in there. Which a lot of times members will come in and be like, I'm a member, you don't need to do the spiritual things. And it's like, you need spiritual improvement just like everyone else. But they were really cool about it. So I was like, okay. So of course we start in the visitor center, and there's a statue of First Vision. So you really get to teach the first lesson. You get to teach them in order. You could teach all of them just from that one tour in the visitor center. So we start and we go around, and there's this super strong connection that I can feel. I just grabbed one of the other sisters from the visitor center. It's a little bit different. You kind of exchange companions. So I just grabbed one of them, and the talk, Elder Oaks talk, was starting, and we had like prime seats because we're the missionaries, but I really felt like I should keep going with him. So we finished the tour in the visitor center, and he had a million questions, 1,000,001 questions. And then they were like, do you have anything else you could give us a tour of? And I was like, sure, I just learned a tour for the women's garden in the back. So we went in the women's garden in the back, and we talked. And there was this, you know, those moments when you really feel like you were in the right place at the right time. The Lord had sent you there because you were the only person that could connect with that person. I'm sure he would have found a way if I wasn't faithful, but it was just nice to be there and be like, I really did connect with this person. So we got in the visitor center, and he asked so many questions. By the time we got to the end, he was like, I really think this is true. I really want to learn more. And so of course we connected him with the missionaries in the area. And my second summer, when I got back from my outbound, I called him up, and he had been working with the missionaries for a while, and he had just kind of stopped progressing. And it was again that moment where the Lord was like, I put you here for a reason. Be yourself. Don't try to be like everyone else, and tell him how you feel. And so I was like, I think you're being silly. Like, you should definitely not worry about these little things. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right, And I loved that. And he committed to being baptized, and he was baptized, and it was just wonderful, because it's one of those moments when you're like, as a missionary, I need to follow the rules, of course, and I need to do what the Lord asked me to, but I don't need to be just like everyone else. The Lord has called me to an area because of my personality and because of my understanding of the gospel and because of the things I've experienced. And it was an amazing experience for the Lord to just be like, be yourself in the way that I've asked you to, and everything will work out. And it was amazing. And he's a great guy. It was just a really good experience with him. So I loved that.